Welcome back. Well, it's imperative that your child wear a helmet for numerous activities. Children and teens are especially vulnerable to head injuries, and I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Jennifer Schell from the Traverse Area Pediatrics and Adolescent Clinic. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so helmets. It's a big deal.
It is.
Why is it a big deal? Why is it particularly a big deal with children and teens? What makes this so different here?
Well, we know that children's brains are still growing and developing, so they are much more vulnerable to the long-term effects of a head injury. So it's especially important for them to wear helmets with any activity where their head could be injured or damaged.
Yeah, and you brought a number of helmets with you today. Why is it so important that, because you have different helmets, I mean, why can't, if I'm going biking, wear my snowboarding helmet?
Well, obviously for injuries, this is here in the back is a hockey helmet with many of our youngsters. You can see obviously if you have a contact sport like football, hockey, lacrosse, it's important to have this cage in the front as well to protect also their face and their head and their jaw. Bike helmets, which probably most of us are familiar with, like this one, they're a little bit lighter, have holes in it to provide more circulation and air if they're wearing it in a warmer climate. And they also have a little bit extra protection in the front here because you're more likely to fall off the front of your bike, and so these are actually extra padded here in the front. Whereas a bike or a snowboard ski helmet, you can see comes all the way down in the back. So in that type of injury, you're more likely to fall backwards. So there's extra padding here and coming all the way around.
So it all depends on the sport. They make them perfectly to fit, but fitting, actual fitting is important. How the helmet lays on the head. So if I take this, let's see. I have a really large head, so let's see. Is this fitting me appropriately?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Actually, if it fits down on your head. The big thing we don't want to do, a lot of time kids tend to wear it like this.
Because it's cool.
Because it looks good. Or even in younger kids, if it's too big and it can slip around, it'll flip backwards. That's not effective. We want to make sure that it fits snugly on the top of your head and down to cover the forehead.
Okay. So snug on the head to keep it safe.
Yes.
And is there anything else that we should know about helmet safety? I mean,
I think one of the biggest things is getting the kids in the habit of wearing the helmet early.
Yes.
So as soon as they start a sport, at 3 if they're getting on their tricycle, start with the helmet every time they get on the bike. One thing I think it's important to know too in Northern Michigan with a lot of winter sports that we have, one sport that people might not think about wearing a helmet for is sledding. And we know there's lots of injuries when sleds run into trees, and so that's a real important sport to think about wearing a helmet as well.
And one more thing, because we have to wrap, but parents.
Be a good role model.
Be a role
Wear a helmet
model
yourself.
Well, thank you so much, Jennifer. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
And sharing all of this information. It's very useful. If you would like more information,